Welcome on to our next video. Today we are talking about the best way to start running after the age of 50. We're going to share with you 5 tips, really important things that you need to take care of to make sure that you are able to run well beyond your 50s. My name is Brad. I'm from CoachParry.com, where we help you become fitter, faster and stronger. And we're going to be joined today by our head coach, Lindsey Parry, to talk more about what it takes to get started running after the age of 50. Welcome back, Coach. Nice to touch base. We're talking about getting started running in your 50s. It's never too late to start, and you've got some great tips, 5 of them in all, to help someone who's thinking about getting started running after 50.
Brad, it's never too late to start. And in fact, as I always tell people, if you start later, it just means you can improve well into your twilight years. So yeah, if you're thinking about starting running now is the time. Like you said, we've got 5 of my best tips for people who are starting out in their 50s, and they are probably in order of importance. I always say to people that often I don't put these things in order because they're all important, but in this instance I've really tried to put them in the order of how important they are in terms of getting you to enjoy running, to be healthy, and not to keep breaking down with injury and illness. So
wait, before you jump in, Lindsey, I'm going to throw a spanner in the works. We're going to start with the least important so that people have to stick around. Let's start with number 5 first.
All right, so we're going to count backwards, are we, Brad?
Correct.
Right, so it's like a space rocket that we are launching into outer space. My son Oliver will love this. So we will then start with number 5, and that's that cross-training is your friend when you start out with running in your 50s, because you do need to start slowly, and so the cross training will help to reduce some of that frustration and allow you to maybe push yourself a little bit harder than you may want, or to feel like you really are getting in some exercise. So that cross training would include swimming, stationary cycling or cycling, some rowing, perhaps the elliptical. But what those are, they are what we call non-impact cardiovascular exercises that don't contribute to the load that you're placing on, in particular, your joints, tendons, and ligaments when you start running in your 50s. So cross training would be of a lot of benefit, particularly if you've got more time to train than the 4 days a week, which takes me to point number 4. It's important that you don't run more than 4 days a week. So when you're starting out in your 50s, you want to run between 3 to 4 days per week maximum, and that will allow you to give your body the time that it needs to recover from each time that you go out there and put that stress on your tendons, muscles, ligaments, and joints. And I know I'm making it sound like almost like running is bad for you, but it's not. It's really amazing exercise for you, particularly as you get older, but we do want to make sure that you can enjoy those fruits without breaking down with injury. Then you really do want to build up slowly. And in fact, the slower that you can stand to build up, the less likely you are to get sick and injured, the more likely you are to start loving running in a couple of weeks' time, the more likely you are to stick it out and turn it into something that you do well into your advanced years. And that, again, is where the cross-training comes in, because while you're building this running up really slowly, you can then throw in a little bit of harder cycling, rowing, elliptical, things that are much less likely to cause injury. And then number 2 on that list would be strength training. Very much the same reason, and it becomes increasingly important the more sedentary you were before you make this decision. Okay, so if you are just starting out doing exercise full stop, your muscles will have atrophied over years, and that atrophy will have accelerated in your mid to late 40s, and it will accelerate even faster now that you're in your 50s. So strength training becomes incredibly important to allow your body to cope with this new exercise regime that you're going to do. And in fact, once you start getting really into a 2-3 months down the line, it's actually going to help you to become a much better runner, as well as protecting your body from injury. Absolutely. And then finally,
Lindsey, wait, before you jump into the number 1 tip, just on that strength training, we've actually put together a strength training plan that if you want to download, you can get access to it right now. There's a link on the screen. You can click on that and you can download it, or you can click on the link that is with this video, and that'll allow you to download it as well. And that strength training, like Lindsey says, is super important, particularly as you get older. What is the number one tip for folks wanting to start running after 50?
Number one tip is that you need to walk before you run. So that does not mean that you have to go out and you're not allowed to run at all, but it means that when you start out, do more walking than you do running, because the walking, it builds up the muscles, the tendons and ligaments that you need for running in a slightly different way. And the running stress is definitely greater than the walking, but that gradual change from walking into running is what's going to allow you to get into this sport and really reap the benefits that you should be reaping. And so what do I mean by that? I mean that when you start out, go out for between 50 and 20 minutes at a time and do something along the lines of a 4 or 5 minute walk, followed by a 1 minute run, followed by a 4 or 5 minute walk, followed by a 1 minute run, and so on until you get to between 15 and 20 minutes. And every 1 to 2 weeks, just depending on how easy that is and how well you take to it, you will then reduce the walking, increase the running. So in week 2 and week 3, it may look more like 3 minutes of walking, 2 minutes of running, 3 minutes of walking, 2 minutes of running. And every week to 2, you just decrease the walking by a minute, increase the running by a minute, and within 8 to 12 weeks, you will find yourself being able to run 5 kilometers without needing to walk at all. And then from there, the world is your oyster.
Absolutely. It takes a bit of patience up front, but once you get that out of the way, as Lindsey says, it is, I don't want to say easy going, but it is a lot easier than trying that stop-start and running till you're absolutely shattered or spent, and then having to pick up an injury and then maybe in a few weeks' time start again. So some great tips there, Lindsey. Thank you very much, and we look forward to catching up again soon.
Brilliant. Can't wait.
Thanks for joining us on this video. Don't forget, if you don't want to miss any of these videos that we put out, hit the subscribe button over here. You can catch our latest video over here, and one of our most popular is over here. And also, if you want to shave 10 minutes off your PB, all you need to do is download our free strength training program. You can get that right here.